Ready?
Yeah.
Hello everyone and friends alike. This is Airplane312 and behind the camera you're going to hear Grant Travels, now called Grant Adventures.
Yeah, hi. I'm playing cameraman mostly today.
Cool, sponsored by this.
Exactly.
Not paid by Pepsi.
Exactly.
Alright, we're going to talk about the pros and cons for to becoming an independent contractor.
Yeah, gig work mostly. All your kind of gig apps where you could just download a smartphone app and go right to work.
This is going to be based off the area that we're in right now. Most areas will be different.
Yeah.
First of all, Grant Travels, I'm going to call Grant Travels, but you guys probably know it's Grant's Adventures, started doing DoorDash and Uber Eats.
Probably 2 years ago?
2 to 3 years ago.
Yeah. But recently, well, actually, I've been on Spark for about a year waiting list in Rapid City, but I have never been able to do it until recently when I just came back here. And, well, I just go ahead and tell you.
Then all of a sudden I mentioned, say, oh yeah, Spark is here.
Yeah.
And you say, really?
Yeah.
He was denying it, that I was joking. He said, no, Spark's here, Spark's here.
Yep, small town Montana finally got Spark and Uber Eats here too. Even though I haven't seen Uber Eats go off the entire time I've been here, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that. But we started doing Spark, and so DoorDash averages probably $6, $7, sometimes $10 an order, give or take. Sometimes only like $3 an order. You know, they're kind of all over the board. You have to kind of make it make sense for you. Spark has actually been averaging about $20 an hour worth of work, give or take. They actually almost treat it like real actual employment.
And the lowest pay that we got from Spark, no offense to Spark or Wal-Mart Corporation, was $7.
Yeah, we had one order for $7, but the majority of them have, let's see, we had 14, we had 32, we had a 75, 20. We had a 24, and the amount of time it takes you, like say if it's $24, it's about 25 minutes worth of work between the shopping and the delivering and whatnot. So they make it worth your time to do it. They pay you per minute or they pay you per mile.
And when it comes out to roughly, it's probably about $1.02 per minute.
Yeah, because like say the $75 order that we got was a 34-mile trip, I think. So about 68-mile round trip.
It's about 31, 32.
Yeah, so about 68 or so mile round trip plus the 10 was it 10 items? Something like that.
No, the one for 75 was the 2 items.
Oh yeah, 2 items,
unfinished food and stuff, and we were told by the person to put it in their mailbox.
Yeah, it was a combination order. We had 2 items going way out in the middle, 30 miles out. And then we had a guy in town that did the local shopping that we did for a batched order.
And also to let you guys know, Walmart has a timer for cold foods and stuff. And the timer ticks as soon as you scan the first cold items.
Yeah.
So please do all your cold items last. Even if it's fruits or vegetables, use that dead last.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how people should normally be shopping anyway. But yeah, just to point that out there that you can get dinged for that on Spark if you don't do that, because the time will run out on you by the time you get all your other non-perishable stuff that's not cold and whatnot loaded up in your cart and then checked out and then brought all the way across to the customer. Might be too late, and you could potentially get dinged for that on both your rating and potentially the money. Or you could have, worst case scenario, you could have to take back the cold milk or whatever you had if the customer refused it, or DoorDash decided, Spark decided to do it that way.
And also what we've learned is when I do my research is if a customer cancels it, you have to take all that product back to that Walmart and return it.
Yeah, that's the one downside is you have to take the mileage to go back to that Walmart, which here isn't a big deal because everything's about 2 miles around from the Walmart. But then you actually get the money from that order, so you still get paid for your time. With DoorDash, half the time you're delivering food and everything, unless it's alcohol they want you to bring back to the store. But with DoorDash, you can keep the food basically if they cancel the order, and you get half the pay and get to keep what they would have got if you have it on you and they canceled it. Except for alcohol, you have to bring alcohol back.
And that could be the same thing with Spark and all those other ones too.
But
If the customer did not show ID and stuff.
yeah, but with Spark, that like you read, if the customer cancels it, you have to bring it back to Walmart, no matter what it is.
Or whatever company that Spark works for.
Well, yeah, whatever company. Because there are other stores, like if I was in a bigger market like Billings or something, there's PetSmart and a whole bunch of other third-party stores that are not just Walmart, that Walmart Spark has gotten into delivering on. But here in small town Montana, it's only at Walmart.
And for us right now, Spark actually paid for his cell phone bill for this for the tire
Yeah, and
month and stuff. And actually, for this area, Spark's actually better than DoorDash and Uber Eats. No offense to Uber Eats and stuff, because we don't have any data on them yet.
yeah, but just overall, it seems like, at least especially lately, Spark has paid you time and your money, and DoorDash basically has paid for the gas to go around doing Spark. But we haven't made enough off of DoorDash to make a difference. It's both not been that busy and hasn't paid out that much. It is averaging maybe $6 an order, but when you're doing $6 an order for half an hour worth of work versus $20 for that same half an hour worth of work, it's better to go with Spark. In this area, in my opinion. But obviously, we've been using them all because it's advantageous to be on Uber Eats and Spark and DoorDash, and then whatever one dings. Hopefully, they don't ding at the same time, but we've had a couple incidences where DoorDash has gone off at the same time as Spark.
And then look at Spark, say, "Oh, this is the time that I have to be here."
Yeah.
And we delay it, but with enough time where we live and stuff, we can actually get from one place.
Yeah, at least Spark gives you the amount of time to do it, to do the order, so you can kind of delay it a little here and there if you had to. I mean, it's not the preference, but if you're just about to deliver a DoorDash order and Spark dings away, you can accept it and still wait because it gives you the time frame to get stuff done, and it's usually about a 2-hour time frame, it looked like, from when you accept it to when you got to get it delivered.
But they said estimated time is 30 minutes for shopping, so
yeah,
try to beat that 30 minutes and stuff.
Yeah, because they do it in steps from when you start shopping to finish shopping and everything. They keep track of all that time, so they can let their customer know when the order's going to get there. But the Spark will end up paying for my phone bill for this month, and then once the money clears here, my bus ticket out of here, which will end up being probably about $150 worth by the time I get all the way over there, will have been paid by Spark too. And the amount of hours we did to do that was 4 maybe.
Let's say roughly 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah, worth of work for all that,
so
for a $75 phone bill and a $150 ticket.
So probably $225, we'll say.
Something like that, yeah.
So virtually it's about $45 per trip, breaking down.
Yeah, pretty much. So it definitely pays for your mileage and your time. At least in this region with this Walmart.
Yeah, it virtually paid for $50 worth of gas, $55 worth of gas money.
Yeah, could be better or worse in your area. It just depends. I would definitely say Spark is a good contender in terms of being loyal about giving you your money's worth for your time and your effort.
The negatives for Spark is sometimes it might be traveling out of town.
Yeah, that's the big.
Or out of city.
Yeah, they will throw you anything. A customer can order up to an hour out of here. The other day I got $66 offer for a 94-mile one way.
66 miles.
No, it's $66 for 94 miles one direction. That's not counting the coming back 94 miles because you have to come back.
If he lived in that other town, then that would make sense.
Yeah, and you were going home, you happen to be like working here and lived in another town, then yeah, you could take that offer and make it make sense. But if not, you're having to make a round trip, and then it definitely doesn't make sense. 120, 130 miles for $66 doesn't pay for your time or the fuel.
If you're gonna do Spark, please try to buy two coolers and stuff, because then you can keep the food cold.
Yeah, because what we've noticed is it takes about a cooler worth of cold stuff every time we do it. And probably like a cooler size worth of other regular groceries that aren't cold. But it's your average person going out shopping, they got a cart full load of stuff. 10 or 20 items per thing, pretty much.
And what we noticed that we like to say about Walmart and stuff, they have the section A1, section 14. Then you know, okay, I go right to 14, and it's right here.
Yeah, and they clearly got the aisles marked, and then when you get in the aisle, then they have the sections marked. If, as long as you're paying attention, you can see what section of the aisle you're supposed to be looking at.
And if the one side doesn't have sections, turn over to see if you can see the sections.
Yeah. But that really helps because it narrows it down to this amount of shelves, these 5 shelves, and this space is where you're supposed to be looking at. And then you know that your product's got to be within that point. Makes shopping faster and easier than like DoorDash Shop and Pay, where it just is this aisle and that's all you get. Then you got to go down the whole entire aisle looking for whatever you're trying to find. Not to say that they're bad, you know, each one's got their own different things, but I like how Walmart took the extra time and effort to put their sections up and everything so you can kind of more easily find what you're getting at.
And we hopefully one of these times all the businesses will actually have numbers and stuff. And DoorDash, Uber Eats, or whatever third party delivery services will actually say, hey, go to this aisle, go here, 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 here.
Yeah, Albertsons and stuff might take Walmart up on their lead on that once they find out that their whatever shopping service they use
or Safeway
works better. If they do it that way, works faster, more efficient, they might adopt that system. And then the other thing I wanted to point out was the self-checkout process. So you scan everything in the cart as you're going to make sure you get the right item. And Walmart has taken the time to realize that since you've already scanned that to make sure you have the right item, why do we have to scan it again at self-checkout? So when you walk up to self-checkout, you just scan the code at the machine, the QR code at the machine, and bag your items. You don't have to rescan them again.
And then sometimes you might have to have the person at self-checkout verify that, oh yeah, you had all these items.
Yeah, that's a totally random thing. The first couple times you do it, they make you do it, and then after that, it's going to be random. You know, whether they want to check your card or not or whatever. But yeah, it makes it the whole system streamlines faster because it makes more sense to, since you're already scanning the cart anyway, as you're loading stuff into the cart. It makes more sense just to not have to rescan it again. Because with DoorDash Shop and Pay, you go around scanning everything for the app, and then you still have to check out, either with the cashier or self-checkout, and you still have to scan it out. And it's like takes twice the time to scan the thing twice.
It's virtually the same thing that you're doing as Shop and Go.
Yeah, except for having to scan everything twice, which is kind of a waste of time. I like how Walmart did it all in one shot. Since you already scanned it once, why do you have to scan it again? That's kind of nice. But speaking of, my phone is dinging left and right. I don't know what that one was. That might be an offer. Maybe. Nope, that was an email. I was hoping to be able to show you an offer, but don't look like it. Right now, DoorDash is, and Spark and everything. I'm on DoorDash and Uber and Spark. We're sitting here waiting for an order, but it still hasn't dinged yet. But here, the last 3 days, it's been noon to about 5 o'clock or so,
yeah.
Give or take.
And
that
the
Spark's
last
been
one
busy.
that we got was about 6 to 7 o'clock.
Yeah. So at least we kind of know the market space for Spark. I think that's my mom messaging. Yeah, that's my mom messaging on the phone. I have 2 phones that I pay for, which is why I have a $75 phone bill, but out transporting it helps to have 2 different phones running because I can leave one plugged in while the other one I'm using.
And with Spark and stuff, it's okay to have 2 phones because if one phone dies, you got a second one that can easily, if you have the app and stuff, you can go back to that second one.
You just sign into your account and go on the other phone, which is handy to have too. But we just wanted to point out what we've learned about Spark here lately, since we both have it's brand new to us in this last 4 days. Worth getting onto Spark, that it's worth your time doing it, more so than DoorDash, at least in this area. There's other areas that I've been at where DoorDash, like Spearfish, South Dakota. If you live in Spearfish, South Dakota, you got it made when you get on DoorDash because the thing just continuously all day long, ding, 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 ding. That area is so busy for DoorDash, you make money left and right, and they make good offers. They make 20 shots an order, sometimes 10, 20 shots an order, and you do that continuously. Because of how Spearfish is set up, they have McDonald's and all your fast food on one side, your expensive restaurants on the other side, so you take an order from here, go deliver it to a customer here, and then you buy the fast food and go back and forth, and you literally ping pong all day long. So
there's pros and cons to every company, so. But
yeah, there's every area that they're in has their pros and cons. Like DoorDash really works in Spearfish,
and
but Spark really works here.
Yeah, and with DoorDash, no offense to the company and stuff, they don't pay. They just virtually pay for your gas. That's it.
Yeah, well, it depends on the market, but like I say, in Spearfish, you can make good money. You can make $200 or $300 a day in doing DoorDash with paying your gas and everything. It depends on your market where you're at, but like here, Spark is the better option.
Even if for Spearfish, South Dakota, Sparking would also be good too.
And it could be. I haven't tried Spark and Spearfish to know how busy it is there or not. It could be the case. That is a university town. It has a Black Hills State University there, so there's a good chance that Spark is busy there too. But I just wanted to point out what we learned about DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Spark. And here lately, I've been qualified for Uber Eats, and I'm on the thingy, but apparently either nobody orders in Mouse City off of Uber Eats anymore. I mean, they used to. I remember doing a couple Uber Eats here the first time I was here, back when they had it. That was probably a year and something ago. And it was busy then, but now, this whole 4 days I've been here, I've been on it, but nothing's dinged. So I don't know if Uber Eats is suspended in this area, and it just allows me to get on the app or what, but I've not had any orders. Not sure what's happening there, but I have a new account with Uber Eats too, so I don't know if it's because of my new account. It could mean any number of things. I do like the Uber Eats platform though, because it goes by navigation. You get to the restaurant or the store that you're picking up from, and it already knows you're there, and it switches to that app to what you need for that prompt for there. You don't have to click buttons like you do with Spark or DoorDash. It just clicks you right through by where you're at. You get to the customer's house, same thing. It just pops right up to the picture to take the delivery picture.
And I wish for other companies for Uber Eats, if they send it to their friend, you could send it through the mobile app, Uber Eats, a special unique code and stuff, that your friend can just hit that, and it doesn't have to ask you to download the app or anything like that. And as soon as you deliver, the delivery driver says, "Oh, I'm here."
Yeah, exactly. So each individual app has its pros and cons. I think in this area anyway, in small town Montana, Spark is working pretty good right now.
And be careful with Spark, because the pin could be way off.
Yeah, that is the one thing we've noticed a couple different times. The map pin for that can be way off of where they're actually at. It just goes by the general direction or the general address. Like if you're in a trailer park or whatever, it just goes by the generic address instead of the actual trailer, the actual pin drop.
And also, if you are a little bit concerned, always message the driver and say, "Hey, my address is this."
Yeah.
And make a description of where you want the items to be dropped off.
Yeah, the more you can give the driver details, the better off you are. And then if you're trying to get something delivered at night, put your porch light on so people know where they're going. It's the easiest indicator, and it gives them light to see what they're doing.
Because at night, it really pisses off drivers and stuff.
Well, it's just hard to find the house number and everything if you don't have the house light on.
And also that could be just like Pizza Hut delivery drivers, or Little Caesars, or any other company that does deliveries.
And if it's hard to think of that, just put your light up to motion sensor light. You know, hook your outside house. You can buy a motion sensor light at the hardware store in Wal-Mart for like maybe $10-20 and screw it into the light bulb. They have the light bulb always on. It shuts off except for when it detects motion, and then it turns on for the driver.
Or daylight timers too.
Yeah, daylight timers too.
You flip the switch on, and as soon as it gets dark, your lights turn on.
Yeah, so that's an easy enough fix, but at least take the time to do that. I do like how some customers put a table or a chair out right by their door on purpose, because that's where they want their food to go. Don't get mad at drivers if your food is on the floor when you didn't put a table or chair out.
And please, for the love of God, put a cooler out if there's ice cream or milk and stuff, because sometimes us drivers will get really, really upset or annoyed or panic because that food that's supposed to be cold can start get thawing out, or your products get ruined.
Yeah. And many incidences can happen where your kid orders, but you didn't know they ordered and whatnot, so it would help to have a cooler out front, to have something to put it in for your cold products. But that's most of that I could think of for this video. What do you think?
That's pretty much that I can think of.
Alright, so this is the end of our Spark DoorDash Uber Eats debate on which is better. They all got their pros and cons. We went over kind of the good and bad of each. But I would definitely say it's worth your time, at least as a secondary job, if not your full-time job, to get on one or two or three of these apps and go out there and try to make money. You know, it's a nice, quick, easy side hustle if you can make $20 in an hour worth of doing some effort.
And also, just so you guys know, if you accidentally see this gun case, the gun is so virtually secured and unloading. So
yeah, for disclaimer purposes, we just did a gun video on the last video, which will post before or after this video, and just for disclaimer purposes, the gun is locked up, it's unloaded, there's no rounds in it. Obviously we haven't got into it the entire time we've been on this video. We're not going to on this video. We're practicing gun safety. The gun is locked in that case, so please don't ding this video, Uber. I mean, not Uber,
or YouTube,
I mean,
or Google,
for having a gun in the background. Like and subscribe, leave comments,
and we catch you in next time. Peace out.
Peace.